There's always downside risk. And I've said this before, but I think it's especially true right now that, especially in silver, downside risk is very small relative to the upside potential over the next few quarters.
Well, it's great to have you, especially in these times when we're seeing precious metals fall quite a lot. And the stock market also is taking a beating here. We're seeing silver really at the lowest level it's been in a couple of years here. So your perspective on what we're seeing, do you see that we could have further to fall?
There's always downside risk. And I've said this before, but I think it's especially true right now that, especially in silver, downside risk is very small relative to the upside potential over the next few quarters. The next support level, we lost key support at $21, $21.41 to be exact. So we dropped below that. The next support is at 1970, and then below there you've got support between around 1850. So I see that as most likely a worst case scenario. I'm not predicting that we fall back that far, but that's the downside risk, which is only a couple dollars. But I still think $40, $50 silver is coming in the next let's call it year or so, if not sooner.
And for silver in particular, why do you think that it can only fall a couple dollars when, a couple of years ago, we did see it fall all the way to around $11?
Yep. So a couple of things there. That is certainly possible if you get some kind of really quick spike low. But I think it was like March 16th, 2020 was that COVID spike low you talk about when we went down to $11. And that was the paper price. But you couldn't really get physical metal for that cheap. Maybe physical fell to $16, $17 or so, something like that. And that was very, very short-lived. That lasted a few days. So something like that is always an outside possibility as well. But I just can't see price staying below 1850 or so for more than a very, very brief period of time. The all-in sustaining cost for most of these mining companies is around $18, $19. And those input costs are rising with the price of diesel and fuel going up as well. So it's hard for a commodity like silver to stay below its cost of production for more than just a very, very brief period of time.
It is interesting because typically when we do see those spike lows, the premiums rise quite a bit. I have heard of people picking up silver around $14 on that spike low, which is, I think, a pretty good deal. But yeah, Eagles, I think I heard, were maybe upwards of $20. So it does seem like, when we do see those spike lows, premiums do increase.
Yeah, exactly. When you're in an environment like this, if you're waiting for a further dip to buy physical, often, any drop in the paper price of silver is offset by an equal rise in the premiums. So, it's hard to get silver for less than $20 for actually to get it, physical silver in your hand that you can touch.
Now, as for gold, what are you seeing there?
Yeah, gold has held. It's been more resilient than silver. It did lose support at its 200-day moving average. But I've been saying from the beginning, I think you and I spoke when gold was up at 2078 on March 8th with that war premium at its peak, that, we're expecting a pullback. I wasn't expecting quite this much of a pullback, but as long as we make a higher high above 1780, we're in an uptrend. So gold is still in an uptrend. It may not feel like it, but that's what an uptrend is. It's higher highs and higher lows. So as long as 1780 holds, gold remains in an uptrend, and I think that's very likely to hold.
Now, what are some signals you're looking for that we may be heading lower in both gold and silver?
I think we're due for a sharp bounce. I'm not really looking lower. I've been accumulating aggressively here and even taking on some trading positions. I can't wait to see today's Commitment of Traders report because it was starting to get pretty bullish in silver even last week. And then we've had, it's been down for, however many consecutive days. So I think the COT is going to be incredibly bullish. We're extremely oversold. Sentiment is down in the dumps. This is an environment where you could see a really quick bounce. So the question is going to be, if and when we get this bounce, is it a dead cat bounce where you come back and make a lower low? Or have we seen the worst of it? That question remains to be answered. But I think, we're more than likely very closer, much closer to a bottom than any kind of top. That's for sure.
Now, recently we have been seeing gold and silver fall along with the stock market. Do you see that correlation continuing, or will gold and silver disconnect from the stock market soon?
I see them moving in opposite directions. So over longer periods of time, gold and general equities have a very strong inverse correlation. And bull markets typically peak around a 1-to-1 ratio, Dow gold ratio. 1980, Dow dropped to 850, gold rose to 850. There's your 1-to-1 ratio. Something similar happened in the 30s. And I think we're going to see that again over in the years ahead, not in the very short term. But yeah, I think gold is going to outperform general equities by a wide margin. That could look a lot of different ways, depending on what happens to the currency. In a runaway inflation environment, you could see stocks continue to move higher, just gold moves up faster. Or stocks could pull back and gold rises and they meet in the middle. I'm not sure how that ratio looks, but I'm looking for that ratio to compress.
Well, Steve Penny, we really appreciate your time today. Before we let you go, where can our viewers find you? And did you have any last thoughts for our viewers?
No, I think we covered it. But yeah, you can find us at silverchartistliberty.com. That's a unique link for your listeners. It is an affiliate link. But we just put together a new website, a brand new app. We're building a really nice community of like-minded investors pursuing our goals alongside each other, sharing ideas in a nice, safe environment that's not owned by some third-party social media. We kind of created our own app, and it's a lot of fun. I would invite your listeners to come check it out. silverchartistliberty.com.
Fantastic. I think one of the most amazing thing about your platform is that people can actually see your trades in your portfolio. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah, exactly. I call it a fully transparent over-the-shoulder service with real-time alerts. So I show members exactly what I own. They see my exact portfolio, and whenever I buy or sell, I send out an alert in real time to everyone. So it's fully transparent. And I keep 90% of the portfolio in a longer term. I call it active investing. And 10%, I have a separate dedicated trading account where I send out trading alerts as well. And what's nice about that trading account is, you don't have to just kind of buy and hold and ride through this volatility. You can profit from this volatility. So, the trading, while the longer term account is red for the last few quarters, the trading account, you can make money in this environment. That one's green. And I send out alerts on that as well.